So, the first question that I have here on my medical interview is, what major organs are associated with the integumentary system?
Well, the body is one whole system, and that's one of the things people think, that they're just not integrated or not attached or not, they don't have anything to do with it. But in fact, the integumentary system has to do with lots of organs, and that's why we can even absorb a lot of medications for, say, our heart or pain or whatever through our skin. So to me, it has a lot to do with all of them, because it's all joined. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be a body. We wouldn't need the other person, right? We're all a team.
Yeah.
So they all work together.
Alrighty, thank you. What are the most common ailments that people have related to the system?
Well, one of the biggest things that we have, especially in kids in middle school and whatnot, is acne. We see lots of acne. We see lots of warts, which are a virus that get on people's skin. The biggest thing that we worry about is melanoma, which is a big skin cancer that most people can die from. And the other two types of skin cancers are basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma. And the number one skin cancer is a basal cell carcinoma. And that likes to go deeper and wider where it comes, but it doesn't tend to metastasize or spread to other organs of the body. But a squamous cell carcinoma, well, first of all, a basal cell makes up about 80% of skin cancers, and then a squamous cell carcinoma is the next most worrisome kind. It likes to go deeper and wider, and sometimes it can metastasize and go to other organs in your body and kill you. Okay, and that makes up about 16% of skin cancers. And then the most deadly one is the malignant melanoma, the one that makes up about 4% of skin cancers. And that one really likes to go to your lymph nodes and kill you. And the number one cause of all of those skin cancers is sun damage. And so we always recommend people wear their sunscreen and wear a broad spectrum sunscreen, so that it protects both against the UVB wave as well as the UVA wavelength. The UVB is outdoors, and so we worry, B is the burning wavelength. Everybody gets burned when they go outdoors if they are out too long and not protecting themselves. But UVA is outdoors, but it has a longer wavelength and can penetrate windows. So we see UVA wherever we go, and that goes deeper into our skin too. So it can cause melanomas and cancers, but it also breaks down our collagen in our skin and cause us to be wrinkled and have brown spots and things too.
Okay, and that follows up with my next question, which is what causes acne and blemishes to break out in the skin?
Well, with acne, we all shed our skin. We have to shed our skin, or we'd look like alligators or armadillos or something like that. So we all have to have shedding of our skin. And then we also have oil glands attached to each hair follicle, because if we didn't, we'd all have like porcupines. And also it helps to make our skin nice and supple, as well as our hair nice and flowing. And so when those cells slough off, some of them slough off and go back down into the hair follicle itself. And then our hormones cause our oil to be produced, mostly on our face and our chest and our back. And so when that dead skin cell mixes up with the oil, it causes a little plug. And so you get a little bump or a little opening called a blackhead or a big pimple or a cyst. And so that's pretty unsightly, and sometimes those cysts can cause scarring and that sort of thing. And so that's why people come and want to get rid of it. And some can be very tender too on some people.
Okay. What is the most serious problem related to the integumentary system?
Probably the most serious that we are concerned about is the melanoma. There's other types of skin cancers, cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, and other things that can be very deadly as well. Merkel cell carcinoma, those are much more rare. So we see more than just those three types of skin cancers that we told you about. But melanoma is the most deadly. It causes about 8,000 skin cancers in the United States per year. About one in about 56 people now. They're thinking in the next few years it's going to have a melanoma. So that's not good at all. Squamous cell, or actually a basal cell, almost 1 in 4 people have a basal cell carcinoma. Again, that can be prevented if we wear proper sun protection.
What are the odds of any average person getting skin cancer?
Well, again, 1 in 4 for the basal cell carcinoma, probably a little less than that as far as squamous cell carcinoma, and about it's about 1 in 63. They project it to be about 1 in 56 in a probably about 5 to 10 years. Again, because we're just not doing a very good job of protecting our skin.
Now, do the odds increase if a person uses a tanning bed or say lays out in the sun to get tans?
Right. When they lay out in the sun, they're going to, of course, get UVB and UVA, but oftentimes they're laying out in the middle part of the day when the UVB wavelength is the strongest. And so then they get burns, and those burns are causing the DNA of the skin to worsen. For instance, I tell people that our skin is like a piece of toast or a piece of bread. If you want to have toast, you put it in the toaster, and it looks better and it tastes good, but you can't get that toast back to bread. If you put that toast in the toaster a little bit longer or too long, you get burnt toast. And you can scrape it off, but you can't get that burnt toast back to toast, and you certainly can't get it back to bread. So each time where our cells turn over, they have to replicate that DNA each time. And the more times we hit it with the sun and damage it, it can't remember the alphabet as easily, and so it gets damaged, and so therefore that causes a cancer.
Interesting. How does dieting affect the integumentary system?
It can. If people are really dehydrated and all, you can see that their skin doesn't have the elasticity as much. Matter of fact, when we round in hospitals and things, if we feel like the person is dehydrated, we'll kind of pinch the skin and we test to see how fast the skin snaps back. Because if it's really hydrated, it will snap back really quickly. If it's not hydrated, it just kind of goes down real slow because there's just not enough moisture in there. Vitamin D is very important for our bones, but we get vitamin D through our food as well as through the sunlight. So a little bit of sunlight is healthy, but too much is dangerous. And so we need that. Again, that's what our skin does, is it allows it to come through, gets processed, and then goes to help our bones and our other organs as well.
How might a person avoid getting skin cancer?
The best thing is wearing sunscreen, sunblock. But there's other things that you can do, is to wear good other sun protection, which would be sunscreens, of course, and then a hat to protect your hair, your head, especially as people get bald or whatever. But a wide brimmed hat, not just the caps, because we see a lot of cancers on our ears. We want to wear sun protective clothing. There's some clothing such as Magellan and Columbia and all that have they'll actually keep you 10 degrees cooler, and they actually have an SPF 30 or 50 woven into the fabric to keep you keep that sun out, so you don't have to reapply the sunscreen quite so much. Of course, we recommend the longer sleeves ones in the pants as well. There's some we actually sell some products that you can put in your laundry to help your regular clothing be more sun protective. And then sunglasses are very important too for your eyes. Matter of fact, melanoma is so dangerous right now, especially around the ozone layer in New Zealand and Australia, that they have a rule for kids that if they come to school without a shirt, without a hat, without their sunscreen, or without their let's see, it's a hat, sunscreen, sunglasses. There's 4 things. For some reason, I'm skipping them. But if they don't have those, they actually get sent back home. So they have to have a shirt. They always have to have a shirt on. They have to slap on their sunscreen, slap on a hat, and slide on their sunglasses. Is what it is. So
That's really
they have to
interesting.
have all that, and they get sent home. That's how dangerous it is, because they're just having so much melanoma down there.
I didn't know it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
What is the role of the skin in our body?
To protect the rest of our organs, because if we didn't, first of all, we'd be falling apart and things would be going all over. And it's a very good protections against infections, to protect against invasions of things. That's why our skin it's very important to have it hydrated real well and not have cracks and things like that, because that's what leads to openings to cause infections or fungal things or viruses, things to get in. So it helps to keep everything whole in one area.
And how is the skin color determined?
The skin color has what's called melanocytes, and those are your pigment cells, and each pigment cell has melanosomes. And so I kind of tell people it's like apple trees. So we all have the same number of apple trees, but the more pigmented the person is, the more branches and apples they have on their tree. So we all have the same number of trees in our orchard, but say an African American one might have 1,000 apples on their tree and 1,000, and 10,000 branches.
Yeah.
But a Hispanic may have only 5,000 apples and 75,000 branches, whereas a Caucasian may only have 100 apples and 250,000 or 20,000 branches. So the more those little branches and stuff do, the more they cover, which gives off more pigment. That's why their skin color is darker than ours, because they have more little tentacles going out through those pigment cells. So we all have the same number, it's just different branches or different little apples, or how many apples they have. This is an easy way to explain it.
Alrighty, well, thank you for letting me interview
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Hopefully you'll all wear your sunscreen.
Yes.